On this episode of the show, we're going to take a look at how you can understand full team defensive tackling and how that can help make you both a better coach and a better tackler as an athlete yourself. So in this video, we're going to talk about the concept that all tackles, or probably 95% of tackles that you'll make in your career as a player or that you'll coach as a coach, are what we call a vice tackle. So what we mean by a vice tackle is that there's going to be a player that you are working with, whether they have inside leverage or outside leverage, to help you make that tackle, or you'll be working with vicing a ball carrier to the sideline, essentially acting as an outside leverage player. So in this first clip, we're going to take a look at Ohio State defending Michigan State here. We're going to see the ball carrier get into space. And we're going to see two tacklers looking to pursue the ball, one with outside leverage to the football, one with inside leverage to the football. Now, whenever you have this situation, this is the ideal opportunity for the defense to make a physical, consistent, safe tackle. This player has done a great job getting off the block of the slot back. Okay, and the free safety's fitting this from depth. Now the offense has a good play here. Now it's about minimizing, can we keep him from the first down, prevent him from getting yards after contact. So this outside leverage player is going to track his near hip, which is the outside hip of the ball carrier, and he's going to look to fit his inside shoulder, okay, into that outside hip of the ball carrier and strike same foot, same shoulder. This inside defender is going to look to do the same thing from the opposite leverage. So they're going to try and come down and vice the ball carrier. Now here, it's an ideal situation, but we don't get ideal execution. So we see here we have an outside leverage player and an inside leverage player. This outside leverage player has got to stay outside. Here, he's able to make the tackle, but he actually momentarily gives up that outside leverage. See it here from the tight. Okay, the running back gets into open space. And there's my two tacklers. We see number 3 has outside leverage. His goal should be to shoot this shoulder through that outside hip, that outside thigh of the ball carrier, while number 4 is closing on the inside hip of the carrier. Again, trying to strike square, same foot, same shoulder. So we see here how 3 loses that leverage. Now, here he's able to make the tackle and the cavalry's coming, okay? But that's an example of a simple vice tackle between 4 and 3. We got him vice on the other side. We're tracking the near hip, and both guys are trying to be square to the line of scrimmage. 3 does a pretty good job of that here. 4 not so much. Okay, square to the line of scrimmage, and we ideally want that near shoulder through the near hip, not through the opposite hip like we see here. But he is able to do a good job getting him on the ground. This brings us to our next clip. Okay, again, watching Ohio State. Here we're going to take a look at number 32. Okay, he does an incredible job as the inside leverage player in this vice tackle. So here 32 is pursuing the ball carrier. He's tracking the near hip of the carrier. Okay, he's right on that near hip. Middle of his body, boom, right on that near hip. See the carrier breaks to the outside. Okay, he again is now tracking the near hip. We see here 39, I think it is, or maybe 35. He's not able to set the edge and be that second player in the vice. And now the ball gets to the perimeter. We do here, though, we see number 3 again. I think that's Damon Arnett, drafted in the first round last night. He's going to come downhill. Here's our vice. We have our near hip player and our inside leverage player and our outside leverage player. The inside leverage player is forcing the ball out. The outside leverage player is providing an edge, forcing it back in. We see here 3 is able to set that edge and attack that outside thigh, that outside quad, that outside hip. And 32 squares it up and now attacks the inside hip, finishing off the tackle. Now the other thing I want you to see here is everybody else's pursuit angle. So we talked about 39. He gets blocked here. He loses his leverage on the carrier. Okay. 32 is maintaining that leverage on the carrier. He gets into space. Now what we need to do in this situation, every defensive coordinator knows this, you need to reset the edge. You've lost the initial edge. That's what 3 does when he comes up the field. But watch the pursuit angle of the other players. Okay? This is a great angle by 32. He's working to the near hip. 3 is now going to take his near hip, which is the outside leverage hip. 24, he needs to recognize he's got to get off this block. Okay, and now he has outside leverage on the carrier. He wants to maintain that outside leverage, take away space, so that if one of these guys misses, he's in position to fit in and make this play. Same thing with 39 here. He doesn't want to run on the same angle as 32 because 32 is already on that hip, right? He can take a bit of an alternate angle so that if 32 misses that tackle, he's able to now become that inside leverage player. And we see here how 3 does miss. And now we have 24 replaces him as the outside leverage player. And the cavalry is coming at different levels to the sideline. In case one of these guys misses, they can fit in and be that second player in the fit. We see here 32 and ultimately 24 end up being those 2 vice tacklers. And 39 gets in on it as well. Okay, I want you to notice how 32 here does an amazing job. He is sprinting to the sideline. His shoulders are perpendicular to the line of scrimmage. He squares himself up on contact, and he is driving back towards the line of scrimmage, finishes on top. That's a great tackle. Our last clip here, we get a pretty good look at Chase Young, drafted 2nd overall in last night's NFL draft. This is an incredible job in team defensive tackling. So there's a little misdirection here. You got the jet sweep, you fake the dive to the fullback, and they're pitching it out to Jonathan Taylor, one of the best athletes in the Big Ten. Okay? How they defend space here is almost perfect. All right, we'll see the safety come flying down to ultimately set the edge. There's our outside leverage vice player tracking his near hip, which is the outside hip. Here's Chase Young working down the line of scrimmage. You can see here he's unblocked. He sees pitch. He's flat tracking that near hip, and there's our vice. Looking at some of the other players in the field here, see number 3 is getting blocked. The rallying defenders are working using their leverage, ready to replace if one of their guys in the vice misses that tackle. Ultimately, this thing's got nowhere to go. Taking a look from the tight front, or from the tight angle here, we'll see the boundary end is unblocked. He's in pursuit. He's tracking the near hip. He's got laser focus on that near hip. Our edge player here is setting the edge. He's square to the line of scrimmage. This makes it much more challenging for someone to juke him. He's under control. He's going to strike with that same foot, same shoulder, and we've created our vice that we're always looking for in tackling, one on each hip. And we see Young here does a great job of coming to balance and squaring himself back up to the line of scrimmage. Notice he's not driving on the sideline. He's not driving him out of bounds. He squares his hips up on contact, runs his feet, and the cavalry gets there to clean it up. So as a review, anytime you're looking to make a tackle as a defense, you're trying to have an outside leverage player and an inside leverage player. When they come together with square hips and square shoulders, we call that a vice tackle.